All right, Brandon here, Mell More.
What's up?
How's everybody doing? So, real quick little Q&A session with Mell. Mell's a lifetime plumber. Been a plumber most of your career, right, Mell?
Yep, that's my claim to fame. That's what I say. Made a living with a shovel and a pipe wrench.
A pipe wrench. All right. When was the last time you operated either?
Well, things, as I tell my guys, if I got to lift up anything bigger than this, you're all fired.
Wish that was true, but it's not,
No,
clearly.
it's not. No, it's not.
So, been a lot of discussion on Facebook recently about,
Blue collar through and through.
yeah, you are blue collar. You really are. But you're wearing a red shirt.
I have no collar.
And no collar. But seriously, been a lot of Facebook attention lately on water quality in Ark City. Mostly started as a result of City of Ark, Kansas City winning an award. Don't know who the award was. What all other cities were involved.
KRWA and every city that entered.
Yeah, which who knows how many, right?
Yeah, a number.
It's
It's a prestigious thing. Everybody's proud of. Oh,
okay,
yeah.
so anyhow.
Especially the operators.
Great.
The operators within that world of the operator world, which is like a world within its own. These plant operators across the country all have the same kind of plants. Everybody's proud of them, especially when you've got a gee whiz $28 million plant, and you're damn proud of it.
So anyhow, Ark City got the award for the best tasting or greatest tasting water in the state of Kansas, which undeniably we should. We spent $28 million or $26 million, $24 million, whatever that was, an incredible amount on a new water treatment facility, WTF. Thank you very much. So anyhow, Mell, as a result of that, people started getting a little bit, what's the word, excited, boisterous on face space, saying we've got the best tasting water where? And truthfully, I love Ark City water.
Yeah.
I love the taste of it.
It's good.
It's
water.
good. I had rusty pipes for a long time that filled my bathtub full of red water, and I was really upset about it. And my whole reason I ran for city commission is because I went to go give my kids a bath, and I fill up the tub, and you can't even see the bottom of the tub because there's so much rusty water.
Of course, go ahead.
The water tastes good. It really does, and we've had good tasting water in Ark City for, in my opinion, for a long time.
And Ark City source water is so good that you could just ingest a little, induce a little chlorine to it to keep the chlorophyll down and drink it right out of the
well,
right out of the aquifer. Yeah, it is excellent source water. We're very blessed with having
all the
such
good water.
Source water, yeah, and a lot of it.
So what I want to ask you tonight, just trying to understand from your professional opinion, you're in your late 60s at this point, telling your age a little bit, but are we at risk? Some of these folks online are drawing some correlation between our public water supply and whether it's cancer or sicknesses or bacterias or infections and all these things. And despite my odds with the city on, and my position greatly, I was all for replacing infrastructure and not replacing the water plant. I still, to this day, stand by that remark. However, I don't think I can't draw a correlation entirely between sicknesses, cancers, illnesses, and our water that's available at the tap. And that doesn't come easy for me to say, because I do like being right. That's just my personality. But I do think we need to replace our infrastructure. But what's your take on, is our infrastructure at risk? What can people do at home to make sure that they're safe and taking the necessary precautions to make sure their families are safe and everybody's good to go?
Well, the source water, as Mother Nature, God has provided us with, is excellent. In getting it to us, we have certain things that we fight. One of it is mineral content or hardness. We fight that because it builds up, and in your dishwasher you can see it, in your pipes you can see it as slowly as the lime and scale build up, it'll actually choke a pipe down. So a 4-inch pipe, which we've got 40 miles worth of in the city, becomes a 1-inch or a half-inch pipe just due to time. So in an effort to get the mineral out, they built what's called a lime softening plant. And what they did was they induced lime into this mechanism that would saturate the incoming water with lime, and then the lime would drop out, and as it dropped out, it collected the minerals with it. Then the dropout lime was scavenged off the bottom and discharged, and then the water went into a sand filter and was filtered out. So the outcoming water after the lime softening plant was nice, soft water of good quality. Now, after that, of course, we started inducing stuff into it, like fluoride and whatever else we deemed necessary, and certain coagulants to keep sediments, and then we put chlorine in it to make sure that we don't get chloroform bacteria built up in it, because as we leaves the plant and goes through, I don't know how many miles of pipe it takes, but I know there's, as I said before, there's 40 miles of just 4-inch, let alone all the 6, 8, 12, 10, 2-inch.
And probably hundreds of miles of 3/4 inch
hundreds
pipe.
of miles from your service, from the main through the meter to your house. There's hundreds of miles this pipe travels through, and that's a bigger problem by far than the actual source water. So when you take a water sample for the best quality of water, best tasting water, you take it to the plant. For actual testing, you go to a tap at somebody's, especially they often strategically find water taps or a faucet closer to the end of the line, so they can really get a clear picture, because no matter how it looks, they're very conscious of your health, and they're very conscious and aware of what water can do. And Flint, Michigan would be the prime obvious example. It's not the only example, but it is a recent example where all of a sudden things were not being taken care of. But the plumber's word is, I'm a plumber, and my creed is, I protect the health of the nation. That is our motto. That's what plumbers say. We live by that. I protect the health of the nation. Plumbers add far more to your life expectancy than a doctor ever will. I know that doctors hate to hear that and stuff, but that's the truth. Clean drinking water and clean sanitation, that's what creates civilization.
And it's a pretty nice luxury.
To turn that tap on and have copious amounts of good, clean water, it's just, we're not talking third world stuff. For third world stuff, I spent a lot of time down in Mexico, and I've been down there for some time, and you can only drink so much beer, and eventually you got to have some water. So I went to this place in China, Mexico, where we were sitting there, and we had our motorcycles down there, and I just wanted a glass of water. That's all I wanted. So I opened up the tap, poured out a glass of water. It just looked clean and clear. I took a little sip. Oh my gosh, it was delicious. I took a little sip, waited about 20, 30 minutes, and this is all right, and drank a glass. So I drank another glass. 5 hours later, I was on a truck headed back to Texas, because I was so sick.
Without your motorcycle.
Without my motorcycle, because I was so sick from the bacteria in the Mexican water. The Mexicans drank it all the time, but we didn't, because our stomachs were Americanized. When you live the life that we do, and everything is so perfect all the time and so constant, your system doesn't have to rise to the occasion to fight these horrible things that are in everybody else's water.
Except for ours.
But our life expectancy is way longer than everybody else's. So the cumulative effect.
So back to the question that I've got, and I've got an inkling that you're on line with me on this, but the water that folks are consuming on a regular basis, despite the red water issues we have in town, and having the champion water at the water plant, obviously with the new RO system and all that, but are people at risk? I mean, what's your thought on that?
Well, when you say at risk, I mean, our life expectancy says they're not at risk, but the reality is the realization that the source water is fine. The infrastructure, the conductors that get the water from the plant to you are problematic. They're problematic if there's a main break somewhere, and all of a sudden they're repairing this main break. Well, that main break causes a vacuum, and it pulls everything from the ground into the main. So a lot of times if you've had a main break in close proximity of your house, the water will come out yellow or brown, and that's from the
That's from all the
birds.
contaminants of the
That's right. That's been
the
ingested
land
into that. That's right.
surrounding the pipe that
That's right.
ingested into the tube and
That's
goes
right.
down and ends up in your faucet.
Yes, ends up in your faucet, and you drink it or bathe in it or cook with it. Those are one of the pitfalls. The bigger pitfall, they've kind of swept this under the carpet, is the realization that PVC pipe is a carcinogenic. But there's nothing you can do with it, so there's no point in worrying about it, because it's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is.
Yeah, everything's made out of plastic anymore.
Everything is made out of plastic. The water bottles you get when you're bottled water, potentially that's a carcinogenic. A lot of them are not reusable because they start breaking down. UV starts breaking that plastic down, and it goes directly into the water. You're drinking the residual off of the plastic.
So as an average consumer, obviously we all don't have the luxury of replacing the 40 miles of cast iron pipes or 80 miles, whatever that number is, and our funding doesn't allow our infrastructure to be replaced at the rate that we'd hoped. Obviously, these things have been neglected. What can the average homeowner consumer do to mitigate any risk or further protect themselves than what you're currently recommending, saying, yeah, our water's pretty good?
Our water is pretty good, and you want to take care of and protect yourself from the anomalies. And the anomalies would be a main break or a backflow condition where something like fertilizer or something gets sucked into the system and inadvertently gets distributed into the system and inadvertently ends up in your house. I highly recommend a particulate in a carbon filter, and possibly sometimes an RO system just for coffee, because RO water makes coffee taste delicious. That's one of the reasons Starbucks coffee is so good, because they RO their system. We do a lot of work for Starbucks, and they've got this huge RO system that produces this excellent quality of water. It's kind of like the commercials for Coors Beer. Coors Beers claim they're so good because they're mountain spring water. Well, there's some truth to that.
Well, and Pepsi, they've been claiming RO for 25 years or something, right?
Well, it's true, but the big Pepsi plant over in Coldwater, Kansas, had to shut it down because of the carcinogenics in the water caused by the runoff from fertilization of farms. So they had to shut that down. Precious water is something that people really take for granted, but the reality is more wars have been fought over water than gold.
So what's the chances of us getting a Starbucks at the new water treatment facility?
Well, if I were going to put a Starbucks in and wanted to forego the RO system and the UV system they put in, I'd put it at the water plant, because their water is good. It's expensive. It's expensive in process and expensive in front end cost.
But really, the numbers they produced, despite my contention with the new water plant, I think they're producing numbers of what they said they would.
Actually, the actual cost of water,
93 cents per 1,000 gallons is what it was going to cost.
The cost of water is substantially less than was with the RO plant.
So
the lime softening plant.
So,
but now that's a front end cost, the longevity. A lime softening plant can be run with a shovel. You can't do that with the plant we got. This RO green sand plant, it's very complicated. The one's running, it's run great and everything, but it's so software dependent. It cannot run without a software package. If the software goes down, or there's a power problem, you cannot run the plant manually.
They've got a generator. We're covered.
Okay, yeah, as long as you're relying on technology, like
we do on FaceSpace and the internet.
Anything we do, we're so dependent on these things. When the end comes, the guy living under the bridge is going to survive. We're not going to. We must realize. We all think we're Rambo until I remember when the ice storm hit in the 90s, whatever it was.
That was 2001 or 2.
Well, right? It was 97, wasn't it?
Well, I think it was. The only reason I remember it being like 01 or 02 is because Country Mart had the big flag.
The big flag. All you can
and
see
that was the only
time.
thing that was lit, and that happened after 9/11.
We're coming, me and the wife and all the kids.
So cool.
Yeah, me and the wife and all the kids were headed back to Missouri. Where's Ark City? We crossed the bridge. We can't see anything because there wasn't any light except for that American flag in front of a Country Mart with the lights on. It's the only thing you see in the whole town.
The land of the home.
Yeah, and we got into town, and by gosh, the powers up, we're going to be pioneers, and we are rugged, tough people. We know where our forefathers went to, and we're like them. So we all huddle up the first night, and and we get up the next morning, and we still got natural gas. So we made breakfast and everything's already all huddled up, and
by noon that day, you went to Home Depot and got a generator.
Not quite. We're tougher than that. We lasted until noon the next day, and then, oh my gosh, enough of this. It was so cold and so miserable, and you don't realize how weak you are until you're we have all these scenarios in our head where we're all this and all that, but then really push comes down to shove, and all of a sudden you're not near as tough as you think you are. So clean water, having a vehicle with gas to go where you want to when you need to. We're so dependent on all this crazy stuff, and so what follows suit is we build a grandiose water plant that's cutting edge technology of all this thing. But the reality is, all we had to do is drink the water the way God produced it, and we chlorinate it only because it goes through a piping system to get to your house. So,
yeah, well, we got nice water. We got an award for it. Of course, it's nice. So, Mel, thanks for taking the time to answer my questions. Hopefully I'll have you on Mell More again. What do you think?
Oh yeah, that's a thought. We can make that a date or something. I don't know what the future is, and the haters will come out and hate, and that's fine. But what it is what it is, and embracing the truth that's a step forward.
Yeah, I'm counting on that Starbucks. As
Starbucks.
liberal as that community is, I love Starbucks coffee.
Yeah, I'm a Black Rifle coffee guy myself.
Of course you are.
Do they have beer at Starbucks? No, they do not. They have cigars there? No, they do not. So all the really pleasures of life, they cut out. They fool them with fancy coffee.
And it's good coffee.
It's good coffee. It is good coffee.
Signing off, Mell More, Water Treatment Plant Talk.
Bam.